Okay, everyone, welcome back to the Chasing the Monster podcast alongside Luis Gomez. I'm David Karras, and we are coming at you with a recap of the Red Sox Tampa Bay Rays series that just ended last night. We're recording this on Monday. Red Sox have an off day today. They will head out to Toronto to start their second to last regular season series of the season tomorrow night. But for now, we're just going to stay in the present and recap a series victory for the Red Sox. A much needed series victory. The Red Sox took 2 or 3 games here in this series over the weekend against the Rays. They won games 1 and games 2. Unfortunately, they could not get the job done last night. Yet again, that was their sixth or seventh time since the All Star break with the opportunity to sweep that they failed on. But we won the series. It hasn't really been pretty baseball for the Red Sox, especially here in the month of September, but we got the series win when we needed it. Obviously, we're going to talk more about the standings later with the wild card because things are nuts right now in baseball, more specifically the AL wild card race. So we're going to get into all that. But before we get into the series, as we do game by game, Lewis, how are you doing? And what are your general thoughts on how the Red Sox played in this series against Tampa?
We're doing good right now. Um, you know, I know it doesn't, we're not like, I know we're not going crazy about this series win because it's a tight situation right now with pressure, and we cannot forget that. The Red Sox took care of business. We won the series. That's what mattered the most. If we didn't win the series right now, we would be tied with the Guardians, with the Astros as well. So we won. At least we won the series. That's what we should always aim for. Um, Not winning the last game, it was like it doesn't feel like a series win because of the moment in September. Only 6 games left. But we should feel good because I feel like before the series started on Friday, we were feeling a little bit. We were feeling more. We weren't this like happy about the Red Sox. It was worse, I would say, but they took care of business, as we should, because if we want to go to the playoff, we should definitely. And they responded. They did their job. But at the end of the day, we should be happy because we won the series, and because of winning the series, we're literally one game ahead of the Guardians and the Astros.
So we'll start here with game one on Friday. The Red Sox were able to get the win 11-7. The pitching battle on the mound was Garrett Crochet, the ace for the Red Sox on the bump, and Drew Rasmussen on the mound for Tampa. Crochet went 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. Rasmussen went 3 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. For the scoring for the Red Sox, Bregman had a homer to left in the third inning. That would end up tying it up, I believe, for the Red Sox at the time in that one
Yeah.
in the specific game. And then all the way to the seventh inning was the next time the Red Sox would score. They would be trailing 3-2, but Jaron Duran would come up clutch and hit a 2-run home run to give the Red Sox the lead. And then that would end up giving the Red Sox the lead for good. And we would have an explosion of 7 runs in the eighth inning in this one. Nate Eaton had an RBI single. Rafael also had an RBI base knock. We had a run scored on a hit by pitch, and we had an 11-3 lead heading into the ninth inning. And Everson Pereira for the Rays did hit a grand slam off Chris Murphy in that ninth inning. Definitely got a little bit scary seeing Aroldis Chapman having to warm up in a game that was once 11-3, but luckily he didn't have to come in. And yeah, the Red Sox were able to take care of business in that first one. Um, this is going to be a theme in this series, but I'll just say for me, especially the two game, well, yeah, specifically the 2 games that the Red Sox won, I was really impressed with our late game execution. Like, by no means were these 2 wins perfect or by any means the best wins of the season, but
Yeah.
I love seeing the Red Sox execute and, get runs across the plate late when they desperately needed it in those, 7th, 8th, and ninth innings.
No, yeah, I feel like it definitely shows that this team wants to go to the playoffs, and it doesn't matter at what point in the game you do it. You don't have to. If we don't do it early, we could do it later in the game. But because I feel like now that you're talking about that, I feel like that's been a thing for us. If we're gonna win a game, we normally in the beginning attack right away. We don't normally have this type of ball games, but it's good because it's even if we're losing in the beginning, we figure it out. And we're trying to figure it out, especially at this moment, because this is when things matter the most.
For sure. And what are your thoughts on a guy like Nate Eaton up here in the big league club? Because the Red Sox signed him to a minor league contract. And I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything better as a Red Sox fan myself. And I'm sure the whole community feels the same way. In the terms of the production we've gotten out of him,
Yeah,
he's a utility guy, versatile, can play multiple positions in the infield and outfield. He's got above average speed. He's hit the ball really well. I mean, obviously it stings and it's stung for, weeks now not having Roman Anthony likely for the rest of the season. But I'm very happy with the production we've gotten out of Nate and sort of supplementing, stopping the bleeding of losing Roman.
yeah. It's funny. I actually told my girlfriend like 3 months ago that when he was with the club and I like that. I like him. I see a lot of potential in him, but he needs more reps. He needs to play more. And now with Abreu like being hurt and stuff, he got to see the field more, and he's producing really good. And the big thing, he could run, he could play every position, and he's showing a lot of pop. That he has a lot of pop in his bat, and I feel like that's part of playing a lot because Abreu's been hurt, but I feel like he could be a big guy, a guy that could change everything. Because I'm not gonna lie, if he doesn't come, if we don't have him in the lineup right now, it would have been even more difficult for us to win. Because he's swinging right now, he's doing good. Um, yeah, but for right now, I really do like him. I like him a lot, and I love that he has a good speed. He could play every position, but I definitely see him when we face like a lefty in playoffs. I could see that. And then when they bring a right-handed hitter, here comes Abreu, or we could use him one for lefties and stuff like that. I like what I see from him, and hopefully he keeps performing the same way. But I like what I see.
I have no opinion on this, but what do you we experimented with Eaton being the leadoff guy a few times this season. Where do you like him being in the lineup? Or are you fine with Duran taking over the leadoff spot? Because obviously, in a perfect world, if Roman Anthony is healthy, he's our leadoff guy. But
Yeah,
given the circumstances, where do you like Eaton? Because I think about what you said, where it's like he's a dynamic player, he's providing some pop, a spark. It's like that's a perfect guy to lead off. But like Duran is also a perfect guy to lead off.
yeah. I feel like it has to depend on the pitcher. Like if it's a lefty, we should definitely put Durant more down because Durant is more. He isn't that good with lefties, but he Durant is a good player, so you never know when he could get a hold into one like how he did on Friday night. You get me? Versus a lefty, you saw that. If he wasn't in the lineup, I think we would have never won. He gave us the 5-4 lead. So I will put Durant in more in bottom in the lineup. He was batting fifth that game on Friday, so I will do that. And Nate Ethan was recently our leadoff hitter at some point, but Romy Gonzalez, Romy's been proving that he's a really good hitter, and I just feel like Yeah, Romy should definitely be our leadoff hitter when it's lefties. And also Rob. Rob is amazing versus lefties. So for Nate, he's been performing really good, batting in the bottom in the lineup. So I wouldn't change nothing. I wouldn't try to change things because maybe that could pressure him. Oh, they put me in the lineup. They want more from me. You get me? I just want to keep the same mentality with him because it's working right now, and not try to push him too much. I want him to keep the same mindset, and I will leave him where he's at right now. The only difference it will be for me is if it's a lefty, I will put Romy Gonzalez batting first or Rob, depending on who's more hot. But when it's a right-handed hitter and pitcher, then it should be Jaron. And Jaron's been he's been hitting the ball really hard recently, and you definitely want to see that.
So we'll move on to game two now in this series that happened on Saturday. Red Sox won the series in this one, winning by a final score of 6-3. Kyle Harrison was on the bump to start the game for the first time in his Red Sox career, and the lefty went 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. And it was Adrian Hauser on the bump for the Rays. He also went 6 innings, giving up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. For the scoring for the Red Sox in this one, got started in the third inning. Trevor Story kicked it off with walking to get on base and then scoring on a wild pitch. Then the Rays would tie it when Mangum doubled and Brandon Lau scored. Bregman would give the Red Sox the lead back with an RBI single, making it 2-1. And then the Rays, we would go up 3-1, but the Rays would fight back in the seventh inning to tie it up 3-3 again on a Nick Fortes RBI double and a Yandy Diaz RBI single. But then, as we talked about earlier, it was the ninth inning where the Red Sox came up clutch again. They headed in the ninth, tied up at 3, but Story had a go-ahead RBI single. Masataka Yoshida had an RBI base knock as well, and then Romy Gonzalez had a sac fly, all in that ninth inning to get the Red Sox to win 6-3. So, just again, timely hitting. We bended, but we didn't completely break, and that's all you want to see out of the Red Sox at this point in the season. Just pile up those wins. And a guy I want to point out in this series is Alex Bregman. He had back-to-back multi-hit games yesterday and Saturday. He had a hit in all 3 games, and he had an RBI in all 3 games. So my question for you, Lewis, is are you convinced that this could be the start of a hot stretch for Alex Bregman, and he used this series to get over his slump? Or do you need to see more from him? Because it's only a 3 game sample size, but he was a huge reason we won this series.
I feel like he's gonna be fine starting now. He's an incredible player, and he's human. He's gonna struggle, but I feel like the struggle is ending. Is ending. He's been doing really good for us in these last 3 games. He's hitting the ball harder, and he's been coming clutch for the Sox. I feel like I feel like I'm seeing a lot of positive things from him and from the other guys as well in hitting. But I feel like his stretch of struggling is over. Definitely, it looks like it. He's hitting the ball harder. When he was struggling, he wasn't hitting the ball hard. It was like weak contact and stuff. But he's been crushing the ball recently. He's been hitting the ball hard, and that's what you want to see when you have a good contact. When good hitters, they hit the ball hard, and you could get lucky with jam shots sometimes hitting the ball weak. But at the end of the day, if you're hitting the ball hard, that means that you're seeing the ball good. And recently, for the last 3 games, he's been seeing the ball good. So that's a good sign. And I feel like he could get even. It could be even better with him because you already know we know what he's capable of at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And even though he was in a cold stretch at the plate, at least getting on base hitting wise, I've just always the whole season been impressed with Bregman's ability to get on base and draw walks. Like he is a master at extending at bats, getting pitchers to throw a fifth, sixth, seventh, even eighth pitch to him. and his on base percentage is still incredible. Like it's right around 360 something. So that means 36% of the time he goes up to the plate, it's going to end with him going on base, which is well above the league average. So just
Yeah,
enough great things.
going the other way as well. When he
Right.
has to go the other way, he could go the other way as well. He's complete hitter. That's definitely the type of hitter we need in the team that can win you ball games.
How do you feel about Kyle Harrison and his future with the Red Sox? Because we talked about this with Owen in the last podcast, where Connolly Early's done enough to convince us that he's going to be a part of this rotation in 2026. It was obviously only Kyle Harrison's first start because his debut in Sacramento, he came out of the bullpen. But
Yeah.
it's two appearances from Kyle Harrison here that I'm really impressed with. I mean, it stinks that he ended up with a no decision in this one because he did leave when the Red Sox had a 3-1 lead in this game. But I don't know. I mean, obviously the pressure is on him to become something because he's the centerpiece of the Rafael Devers trade. But I'm absolutely open to exploring him being the number 5 or 4 starter. I think him and Early are the back end starters next year, in my opinion. But obviously, we want to stay in the moment. But it's always good to look ahead. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like I know that he wasn't that good with the Giants, and he had like a rough start with them. But after he came to us, it looked like we changed like the type of grips and how he grips the ball and stuff. It's working, and even though he had a bad start for the Giants, they always predicted him to be a superstar. So that's a good thing. But I feel like we actually have something good here, especially after because he spent after he came to Boston, he spent the whole time in AAA working on grips and stuff like that. He got hit a little at the beginning in AAA, but then at the end, you saw that he's performing even very, very good. And I feel like that's thanks to the Red Sox being smart with the pitching staff. You get me, and his performance with the Red Sox from the bullpen and from starting now, and now it's not just a regular start. He's starting, but he knows he's going with pressure because even though he's the Rafael Devers trade, no, like part of it, but it's like no one is thinking about that right now. He's thinking about wild cards, playoffs. You get me? And he knows like instead of choking, he actually did a really good job. And I like what I saw from him. If we make a deep run in the playoffs, I feel like he's gonna be there for us.
For sure.
But we got
Guys,
we got to win the wild card first. But
right. We got to get there first, but I could
yeah,
absolutely see players like him and Peyton Tolley coming out of the bullpen and getting us out of a pinch or helping us out in a playoff game if we get to that
yeah.
point.
But
Um,
for next year, definitely, especially in the off season, he's gonna try to get bigger, stronger, even early as well. Early's young. Both of them are young, so they're definitely gonna try to get young and stronger, healthier, learning grips, practicing even better, and I feel like they're gonna be even more ready, even more prepared for the big leagues next year. And even if they go to the playoffs, that will be a good experience for everyone to have that taste because none of them in the team has that type of taste. Only Bregman and what and Story a little bit with the Rockies, but
Bregman, Story, and Whitlock from 2021.
and Nathaniel, literally that's it.
Low, right?
Yeah, but it will be nice to get a taste of that and feel that pressure because they could come even more prepared for next year. But I like what I see. Even when it's a game that matters, he performed very well, and I feel like he's gonna be a stud for us. But hopefully he figured things out and becomes even better.
So
Do you
now
like him?
I do. I I like what I've seen out of him so far, and I like that the Red Sox have developed a lot of lefty pitchers like
Yeah,
Crochet, Early, Harrison. I like that because there's a lot of, I mean, the majority of the league, it seems, is predominantly right-handed hitters. So going lefty on righty, just having that flexibility is great. That's only going to serve us well in the future because some teams are, in dire need of lefty pitching. We went from having not probably too much to now having a good diversification of righties and lefties.
yeah.
So it's exciting in Boston. We're focused again on the present. We're hoping that we can punch our ticket to the playoffs for the first time in 4 years, but there's just as much reason to be excited about this next week as there is to be excited about 2026, 2027, and 2028. So, but with that, we'll get to the final game in the series. Hopefully, we can get over this quickly because the Red Sox lost to the Rays in the series finale. Um, this is actually the final game for the Rays this season at Steinbrenner Field. They got their 41st win of the season at their home temporary location. So they finished their season 41-40 at this stadium. But in this game, Connolly Early was on the bump for the Red Sox. It was Joe Boyle who got the start for the Rays. Early went just 4 innings, giving up 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them being earned, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And then Boyle went 4 1/3, giving up just 1 run, but striking out 9. First inning, Rays jumped all over Early. The first inning was just a true gut punch in terms of how the Red Sox have been recently. We had bases loaded in the top of the first, and we could do nothing about it. Typical Red Sox as of late. And the Rays in the bottom of the first inning got the bases loaded, and they were actually able to get some runs across. Christopher Morel had a 2-run double, and another run scored on a throwing error from Bregman to make it 3-0. In the fourth inning, Cedar Rafaela had a double, bringing in Nathaniel Lowe to cut it to 3-1. Later in the game, Brandon Lau had his 30th homer of the season to put the Rays up 4-1. Then the seventh inning, things got interesting. Bregman had an RBI single, and then Roby Gonzalez also had an RBI base knock to make it 4-3. But in the bottom of the eighth, the Rays would put the game away as Morel would have another 2-run hit, this time being a 2-run single, followed by a sac fly from Jake Mangum to make it 7-3. So the Rays did their part, even though they were officially eliminated from playoff contention Saturday night. They spoiled the sweep for the Sox Sunday night. And, you talked about this earlier, Lewis. It would have been nice to have gotten a sweep. And I definitely think we can agree this feels like a missed opportunity that we could have won this game and gotten the sweep, gotten a little bit more breathing room against the Guardians, Rangers, and Astros. But at least we won the series. Like that's
Yeah.
we had to go in there and do that. The Rays aren't the Rays of the past, but they're not, cellar dwellers in the MLB. They're still a respectable team. And I mean, the Rays have a very large history of being very painful to play against and make it very hard to beat them or win against them. So, you got to be happy, but not extremely happy about taking 2 or 3.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We tried last night. Even you could see it like late game being late. It was 4-1. If I'm not wrong.
Yep.
We tried to come back right away. You saw that like that seventh inning. We tried to come back, and we were trying to do like the magic tricks and stuff, but like pull our magic. But it's just when something's not meant to be in a game, it's not. You get me? And you saw earlier. I was really pissed off because Roman Gonzalez gets walked or a base hit, and then Nathaniel Lowe hits a double, and they sent him home. And at that time, we had no outs, and I felt that could have been a good rally right there. And sending Romy Gonzalez going home and being called out, that ruined the momentum because at that moment that would have been the first run of the game if I'm not wrong. But then the next inning after that, we scored 1 run, so it should have been tied. You get me? So I just feel like we did a lot of mistakes. Jaren Duran got caught out on first. Like he was trying to steal, and they throw up to second, and they caught him halfway. But it's just. And by the way, that same inning after he got called out, Breckman gets some base, Romy Gonzalez gets some base, and then Masataka Yoshida another base hit. No, Bregman. It was at that point it was bases loaded again, and Jaren would have scored if he was never called out, but he was out. You see what I mean? It's like we gotta. It wasn't our game. It wasn't our game, and when something is not meant to be, is not. You could tell it was like the Rays had all the luck that at least that game, but our series win is a series win. A win. We have been playing really weird baseball before we head into Tampa, but at least we won the series. That was the goal.
Right.
We
And
can't we
now,
can't be ungrateful.
100%, we have filmed a lot more sad, disappointing videos after Red Sox series losses. We got to appreciate what's right in front of us. Specifically, me and you, Lewis, being able to record a video after a series win for like the first time in forever. It feels like so.
Yeah.
Take what we can, but now the Red Sox head to Toronto, north of the border, as we said. They have an off day today, but they start their second to last series tomorrow night against the AL East division leading Toronto Blue Jays. Tuesday night, game one, Lucas Giolito on the bump for Boston versus Kevin Gausman for the Jays. Giolito is 10-4 with a 3.46 ERA this season. Gausman is 10-10 with a 3.38 ERA this season. Wednesday night, we got Crochet pitching for Boston and the longtime pitcher in the MLB, Max Scherzer, on the bump for the Blue Jays. The ace for the Red Sox is 17-5 with a 2.69 ERA. Scherzer this year for Toronto is 5-4 with a 5.06 ERA. Then in the series finale Thursday night, it's Brian Bayo, El Nino on the bump for the Red Sox. The righty is 11-8 with a 3.34 ERA. Then Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. This season, he's 3-2 with a 3.57 ERA. So
You
heavy
saw that
hitters.
you saw they changed Bayo.
I was just going to ask you about that. So, what are your thoughts with the Red Sox flipping the starts between Bayo and Crochet? Because Crochet was slated originally, for the viewers who aren't aware, to pitch the series finale Thursday night, and Bayo was expected to go Wednesday night. But Cora flipped the two around to have the scheduling work out where if the Red Sox are able to clinch a wild card spot, Crochet would now be in line to pitch game one of the wild card. So that's clearly the thinking there. And it's some, slick rotation manipulation by Cora. But we got to get there first. But I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I like it.
I
I
think it's
really
the right
do.
move to make.
Yeah, like you said as well, it lines him up to pitch the game one of the wild card if we get there, and I know we will. We have, you know what? I'm not gonna say if we get there. When we get there, you
Oh,
gotta
oh,
have faith.
knock
You
on
gotta
wood,
have
knock on
faith.
wood, knock on wood.
No, if I'm, faith is all about believing. I believe, and I gotta be positive. I know it's gonna happen. So we gotta have our starter, our ace, ready for game one of the wild card. We gotta focus on tomorrow though. You get me? And then when the wild card comes, we can focus on that. But we gotta focus on what we have right now on the table. So it lights him up really good with a wild card series. I like to be the starter, so that's also good thinking. And also, Bayo has been having a little bit shaky starts, his last two starts, is also good for him, I feel like, because, you know, maybe giving him a day of rest, help him, help him be better. And with 1 day of rest, I can imagine that arm is going to come even better. And especially for this moment, with the day off today, and giving him 1 day off is even better for the arm. and hopefully it can come through on Wednesday. But I feel like I like the situation. I like it. Um, Hopefully Luca also figured things out. He's been a little bit weird recently as well, like walking people. But I know for him it's a mechanics situation. He always said it before. Like when he's walking people, it's just mechanics. But I know he's gonna be if he's on his mechanics and stuff. He's gonna be fine. Another thing that you gotta think about: the Blue Jays. They haven't been playing good baseball. They haven't recently. They haven't. They lost 20-1, I think, recently on Saturday.
Wow.
So after they lost Bo Bichette, things have been a little bit different for them. It hasn't been the same. They're a pretty good team still, but you could tell Bo Bichette it's missing. He's missing in that lineup, and we got to take advantage of that. We have to. We have to take advantage of that. Bo Bichette definitely helps them win games, and having Bo Bichette not there could really mean a lot for us. But for now, I feel like with Grosjean pitching game two and Bayo three, it's a good thinking. Gives Bayo another extra day, and hopefully he can come through.
The only thing that scares me about moving Crochet's startup is that I saw a stat today, I believe from Gordo on Red Sox Twitter, where when Crochet has pitched on only just 4 days rest this season, his ERA is 3.58. Compared to if he's gotten 5 or 6 days of rest, his ERA is right around 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I get the trade-off as we talked about, where you push the startup by 1 day for the present, and then if we make it to September 30th to play more baseball in the playoffs, Crochet will have been pitching on what would that be? That would be Thursday. He will be pitching on 5 days rest. So you cut him short now in hopes that it pays off in the future. It's a gamble. You got to gamble at this point in the season.
Oh yeah, you
That's
have to.
that's the only thing I'm worried about. But I mean, either way, there's no three other pitchers I'd want the Red Sox to have on the mound for this series against the team that's leading the division. I mean, we got our top three guys.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. That's not to say that Gausman and Bieber are also great pitchers as well. Scherzer, I mean, he's got the track record. He's not having a great year this year, but you got to respect what he's done in his career. But what are your predictions for how this series is going to go against the Blue Jays?
I'm not gonna lie. I know the Blue Jays are the leaders in the East, but I'm not scared of them. I'm not. And they saw a different type of Red Sox team the last time we faced them. We were struggling when we faced them. We were struggling really bad, and right now we're a different team. They're also a different team. They're not playing the same way anymore, especially after losing Bouchette, and they're having problems with the bullpen recently. So, what I'm aiming for, always winning the series. If the sweep is there, I will take it. If we could sweep them, I would. But what matters at this point is winning the series, and that's it. We cannot afford to lose the series. So if we win the series, 2 out of 3, I will be happy with that because that means the other teams like the Guardians and the Astros they have to do the same thing as well, and we're also in front of them for one game, and we're in front of them for one game. We're one game ahead of them, so that's a good sign. But it's just we got to see what happens. We got to win the series. That's what matters. Like hopefully, like the Guardians and the Astros, they lose the series, and then they could figure their own situation on their own. You know what I mean? As long we're good in the playoffs, they could figure things out with themselves, and they could kill themselves if they want to. But right now, winning the series that's what matters. That means the most. And if a sweep is available, and we want to take you know, the freaking Blue Jays have kind of like dominated us this whole year. So I feel like we're due to dominate them right now, and this is the perfect timing. They have won the series over us every season, every series this year. So I feel like we're due, just how the Yankees were due to win the series at Fenway. You remember? I was like, I told you, I felt like they were due to do it because we won. They got swept by us. At some point, we got swept, I think, by the Blue Jays. I just know we lost the series against the Blue Jays. But I feel like when you're just losing to that same team, at some point you're due to win the series, and this is the perfect timing to win the series. And about the Tigers, I'm not. They're not the same team anymore from what we saw in May. We also I forgot to mention this, but you saw how the Guardians are only one game behind them.
Yeah, do you want to pull up the graphic right now?
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. That's
This is how tight the wild card is right now, as of 2:50 on September 22nd, ladies and gentlemen.
that's just. And meanwhile, the Guardians, they're just one. The Guardians and the Red. I mean, the Tigers and the Red Sox have the same record right now. They have the same record, and they were 15 games ahead in front of the Guardians, and now they're just one game behind. So can you imagine that? Like losing all that. They were comfortable at some point. They were comfortable. They didn't have no pressure. Like, the East has been different this year. The East has been Red Sox, Yankees. They're right there with each other. But the East, the Central has been like a little bit. It's all Tigers, all Tigers. And now with this 10-game winning streak that the Guardians just had, things have changed. And I feel like if the Guardians never would have gone hot, 10 games winning streak, things would have been. I feel like we would have been we would have been good. Like like we would have had no pressure. Or I feel like we would have clinched the wild card spot even faster. We won't have to wait until the end, but now we do because we're literally just one game in front of them and the Astros as well. So at this point, what matters is that we got to win the series. And hopefully the Guardians are gonna face the Tigers tomorrow as well.
Right.
Screwball's pitching. So hopefully the Tigers just got swept by the Guardians. So hopefully the Tigers are a little mad or something and they could get the Guardians off of our backs because it's just one game series. So but let's see. But for now, I just feel like we gotta win. We gotta forget about the wild card situation. Let's just win games. Let's focus, win every pitch. Let's focus on this. And at the end of the day, all the results will come up. And if we're a wild card team, we are. But this is the time. Is that this is the best time? And right now, if we're a playoff team, this is when we prove it. And I love this pressure because everything in playoffs is pressure. You know what I mean? Playoffs is about pressure, and if we could stand this type of pressure, the Guardians and the Astros right behind us. If we could stand this type of pressure, we will be fine in playoffs because it's kind of like a test. You get me? Nothing is free. It's literally a test, and then when we make it, we have gone through everything in the world this year. So why not? Let's go for it. You know what I mean? We're in the wild card spot, but let's focus on tomorrow's game, and we will go from there.
Right. Just take it day by day. My prediction for this upcoming series for the Sox is I think we'll take 2 or 3. It's going to be tough, but I could see us losing tomorrow night, but then cashing in with Crochet on the mound and then Bayo getting the job done. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, these are for Bayo and Crochet for sure. Though these are going to be the biggest starts of their MLB career so far. A lot of pressure on them, but as I've been saying, as you just said, Lewis, it's It's great to be in this position. It's exciting playing meaningful baseball in September. So it's just as much nerve wracking as it is exciting for me. And I just hope this joyride doesn't end next Sunday and we, get a few more weeks of baseball to play coming up in the future. But
Yeah.
that, go ahead. You want to
And
say something?
the last thing. Luca this year, he has pitched really good against the Blue Jays. He also had like a bad start. He had a bad start against the Blue Jays, and it was on his debut at Fenway Park. But he's a different pitcher now. He looks totally different now. But I feel like if Luca is there with his mechanics, we will be fine. But I like that Luca has pitched good against that Blue Jay team this year. That's a good sign. And now that they're like a little bit struggling, we could take advantage of that and no Bo Bichette. Because at the end of the day, even we don't have Roman, but we're still like a team. We're still producing. You get me? And I remember like last week I told you we're having problems cashing in. We're getting on base. We're having problems scoring people. The series has been like we're like getting over that hump. We're figuring things out. We still have things to figure out still, but I feel like that's part of baseball. We're gonna figure things out and we're gonna get better and better. Because losing a bat like Roman is, Roman's he's different when he's batting. Different. He's smart, has power. He's a complete hitter right there. That's the type of hitter that could change anything. And losing a bat like that can make you struggle for 2 weeks a bit. But then we're a team that we figured things out. We lost Rafael Devers. Devers is one of the best hit. He was literally the best offense player we had in the team. But look, we still figured things out and we moved on. And I just feel like if we could get through this stretch and then we could get Roman back in the for playoffs, we would be fine. But but we're a team that we figured things out. And last week we were getting a lot on base, but we were having trouble scoring them. And recently we still been leaving people on base, but we still coming through. Even with you normally don't win games when you leave people on base, but when even if we're still leaving people on base, we're still figuring how to win the game at the end of the day. So that's a good thing. And I just feel like things are just going to get better and better, especially because this team is hungry. And Sandan Rafaela has been hitting the ball really hard and he's been doing really good. He hit a bomb yesterday that would have been a home run at Fenway Park, even at different stadiums. But that's what I want to see from Rafaela. He's doing good. He's doing better. And every time he sees the Tampa Bay Rays, he starts going off. So hopefully we see that from him. But he's been looking like a different player, hitting the ball 100+ miles per hour. Jaron Duran's doing the same thing. Story has been incredible for us. Nate Eaton also has been doing the same thing. Bregman's starting to do the same thing as well. Narvaez is starting to look better as well. He's been struggling recently, but he's starting to hit the ball good again. And Romy, he's been a little bit weird recently, like the last two games. But he got a base hit yesterday as well, and he was in a 14-game winning streak. It's not always about always, always. You cannot get whatever you always want in the game, but he's been doing amazing as well. And I feel like we're gonna be fine. Yoshida is also another person that's been hitting the ball hard as well. He's been having a lot of weak contact, and he's hitting the ball harder now, and putting the ball more in the air. So that's a good sign. And I just feel like things are just gonna get better and better for us. That's it. And we're figuring things out, and we're gonna be fine.
Win by any means necessary. That's the goal for the Red Sox.
Yes, sir.
That is going to do it for this episode of Chasing the Monster. Want to thank everyone who's been tuning into these. It's been fun doing these. We're going to keep these going as long as the season goes on for the Red Sox, and hopefully we do these all the way through November. But as Lewis said, just take it one day at a time and one game at a time. But if you like these videos, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe also. Share this with your friends, and we will have another recap for you right after the Tigers. I'm jumping ahead. I'm not even going day by day. We will have another recap for you after the Red Sox versus Blue Jays series later this week.
I mean, it's because we're gonna beat the Blue Jays. You know that. You know that, right? I can see it in you.
We knock on wood anywhere we can, but good luck to the Red Sox. From us in the States, good luck to the Red Sox north of the border, and we will talk to you guys later this week. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.
Peace.